This is the newsroom for Tuesday, June 29, 2021. We're broadcasting to you on E1, Scar TV, NTN, and Tarzi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, 9 months later, 4 persons are charged with the gruesome murder of 17-year-old Harish Singh. The Chief Elections Officer, Keith Lowenfield, his deputy, Roxanne Myers, and returning officer, Clement Mingo, are slapped with more charges. Guyana and Suriname have inched one step closer to building the Corentyne Bridge. And in sport, Olympic-bound boxer Kevin Alikok off to Russia for high-level training. E-Networks makes financial contribution to his journey. With the news, I'm Fariza Hanif. We're glad you can join us. 9 months after he was brutally killed, 4 men were on Tuesday charged with the murder of 17-year-old Harish Singh. Kurt Campbell joins us.
The 4 murder accused appeared in court virtually and had the charges read to them by Magistrate Peter Yu at the Fort Wellington Magistrates Court. They were not required to enter a plea to the charge of murder contrary to common law and were remanded to prison until July 12, 2021. The case was transferred to the Blairman Magistrates Court. Those charged are 29-year-old Philip Anderson, called Ratman, of No. 3 Village, West Coast Berbice, 27-year-old Joel Gittins, called Bolo, of Django Town, East Coast, Demerara, 27-year-old Gladstone Henry, called Gladwin Henry and Soldierman, of No. 3 Village, West Coast Berbice, and 21-year-old Charles Scott, called Boku, of Jarvis Street, Rosignol, Berbice. The charges were instituted on the advice of the Director of Public Prosecutions, some 9 months after Harish Singh's 12-year-old brother found him murdered. Singh of No. 3 Village, West Coast Berbice, was found in a bloodied state on September 9, 2020 in the Bagdam. His motorcycle was also found torched. A post-mortem examination revealed that he died from brain hemorrhage and blunt trauma to the head, compounded by compression injuries to the neck. He was killed in the height of days of heated protests over the deaths of 2 teens, Isaiah and Joel Henry. They too were brutally murdered the weekend prior in the Backlands. Harish's grandfather and 2 of his uncles were arrested in relation to the murder of the Henry teens. The family has always maintained that the men are innocent, although they were arrested after it was revealed that they were also in the Bagdam on the day of the gruesome murder of the teens. They were later released with no evidence found to tie them to the crime. Harish's death has always been regarded as retaliation for the murder of the Henry boys. Only last week, the police issued a wanted bulletin for Gladwin Henry, a relative of the Henry boys, for questioning over the murder of Singh.
Embattled Chief Elections Officer of the Guyana Elections Commission, Keith Lowenfield, his deputy, Roxanne Myers, and Region 4 returning officer, Clement Mingo, were on Tuesday released on $100,000 bail on 2 new charges of conspiracy to defraud electors during the March 2, 2020 general and regional elections. The trio appeared before Magistrate Shardell Isaacs Marcus at the Georgetown Magistrates Court and were not required to plead to the joint charges. The charges allege that between March 2nd and August 2nd, 2020, they conspired with each other and with Valda Lawrence, Carl Smith-Joseph, and others at GCOM to defraud the electors of Guyana by declaring a false account of votes. The trio was represented by attorney-at-law Nigel Hughes and Associates. The matter is adjourned until September 14, 2021. Lowenfield is currently before the court with 3 counts of misconduct in public office and 3 counts of forgery, while Myers with 2 counts of misconduct in public office. Mingo is currently charged with 4 counts of misconduct in public office. They are all accused of inflating the results of Region 4, Guyana's largest voting district, to give the APNU-AFC coalition a majority win at the March 2nd elections, when in fact the PPPC had won by 15,000 more votes. Guyana and its neighbor to the east, Suriname, have inched one step closer to the realization of the long-touted idea of bridging the expanse of water that separates the 2 states, the Corentyne River. The 2 governments will soon ask several shortlisted companies to submit within the next 3 months a price offer that will then see a full feasibility study being done. Kurt Campbell reports.
7 months after finalizing the agreement for the construction of a bridge that would connect the 2 countries, Guyana and Suriname have now shortlisted some 8 of 38 companies that have submitted expressions of interest and will soon ask for their price offers. Guyana's Minister of Public Works, Juan Edgel, confirmed to the newsroom that the 2 sides met virtually on Thursday last and shortlisted the companies that will now have to provide financials. This, he said, will in turn allow for a preferred bidder to be selected in moving the process forward.
We met virtually last week, Thursday, to finalize a short list of companies who will have to provide their financials to have the preferred bidder to do the studies and the design of the Guyana-Suriname bridge.
EGIL refused to comment any further in the meeting with Suriname until there is mutually agreed written correspondence on the latest developments by the two sovereign states. But reports out of Suriname indicate that the 38 engineering firms that expressed interest, 8 have been shortlisted. An article published on the online platform of Waterkant indicates that the agencies which have already applied come from different parts of the world, including the United States of America, China, Spain, Brazil, France, Canada, Japan, Germany, Italy, Trinidad and Tobago, Korea, Guyana and the Netherlands. The agencies, according to Waterkant, that will receive an invitation to make a price offer are from China, France, Canada, Spain, Netherlands, Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad and Italy. The offers are expected no later than September 16, 2021, after which they will be assessed by a joint evaluation committee. The chosen company then has approximately 1 year to carry out a feasibility study. The Corentyne River Bridge, once completed, opens up great possibilities for trade and cross-border cooperation. For the Newsroom, Kurt Campbell.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit Guyana's shores back in March of 2020, the country's fishing industry has taken a hit, with fishermen reporting a 40% reduction in their catches. This was revealed by the chairman of the Guyana National Fisherfolk Organization, Pameshwar Jainarine, who was at the time speaking at the 2021 celebration for National Fisherfolks Day at the Border Cricket Ground on Tuesday. Shikima Day has her story.
At an event held at the Border Cricket Ground on Tuesday, chairman of the Guyana National Fisherfolk Organization, Pameshwar Jainarine, stated that the fishing industry took a hit with the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic. Jainarine said that from data obtained, catches have reduced by as much as 40%, while their expenses continue to increase. And of recent, the seasonal flooding and severe weather patterns have exposed how vulnerable the fishing industry is. This, according to Jainarine, has resulted in some fisherfolk developing a Wild West attitude to earn with little regard for the laws and regulations governing the sector.
There is no serious effort to use the resources in a manner that will ensure its continuous sustainability over a long period of time. We are seeing smaller and smaller mesh size being used in our main fishing industries, the gill net fishing, the boats that target the gray snapper, the trout. We are seeing use of inappropriate gears that's being used exclusively at some of the landing sites. These nets, what we call the monofilament nets or the catguts. These nets do not rot. And it's been recognized that it's harmful to the fish industry. But nevertheless, it's still being promoted.
As such, Jainarine called for tougher policies to ensure the sustainability of Guyana's fishing resource. Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa in his remarks stated that progress is being made to ensure that Guyana has a viable and sustainable fisheries sector. He said a new strategic plan for inland fisheries and aquaculture development for 2021-2026 is currently being drafted. Additionally, he said that the Fisheries Advisory Committee was recently resuscitated to help better monitor the industry and promote good fishing practices.
We are working, and I hope that the associations, the Fishery Advisory Committee, the National Fishing Folks, our association, they will help us and give us suggestions and recommendations so that the fisheries can, the fishing association, the opportunities for fishing can be improved in our country.
At the ceremony, awards were given to the most improved cooperative society. This went to the number 66 Village Corentyne Co-op Society. The Best Fisherman Award went to Fisherman Kehil Mohammed of Region 3. This year's National Fisher Folk Day was held under the theme Promoting Social Responsibility to Safeguard Fisheries, Resources and Livelihoods. Reporting for the Newsroom, I am Shakima Day.
A 27-year-old security guard was on Tuesday remanded to prison for allegedly stabbing his younger brother to death during a heated argument. Quincy Chase of Norton Street, Working Russ, appeared before Chief Magistrate Ann McLennan at the Georgetown Magistrates Court for the capital offense. Quincy, who cried throughout his arraignment, was not required to plead to the charge, which alleged that on June 25, 2021, at Cummings Street border, he murdered 24-year-old Quincy, who was arrested. Intent on offering underfunded orphanages across Guyana support that would see the improvement in services offered, First Lady Arya Ali on Tuesday launched the Adopt an Orphanage initiative. It will see businesses honoring their corporate social responsibility by signing on to a memorandum of understanding that would dictate the extent of the support to be offered on a monthly basis. Here's Kurt Campbell.
Just months after a casual conversation with US-based Guyanese rapper St. John at State House, in which the passion for supporting children in institutional care overlapped, First Lady Mrs. Arya Ali on Tuesday launched the Adopt an Orphanage initiative. It was at that meeting on October 2, 2020, that the idea was birthed. The First Lady and her team would spend the next 7 months engaging corporate Guyana, and in the first phase will see 7 businesses and 2 individuals providing financial support to 8 orphanages over the next 6 to 12 months. In the multi-stakeholder approach, the project has also received the support of the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. St. John, in a brief but passionate video message on Tuesday, said it was a proud moment for him.
So when I sat down with the First Lady after I'd left the orphanage, Joshua House, and Miss Gladys told me that she needed help. She told me she'd been there for dozens of years and the money that she was being subsidized to support the children wasn't enough for them to help. They shouldn't have to decide between books and bikes. That's not an option for me. So when I said I wanted to help, I visited other orphanages. I was only in town for about 48 to 72 hours, and I visited 4 to 5 different places. And I said I wanted to help. And when I sat down with the First Lady, I said I wanted to help, and this was my agenda. And she said this was her agenda. And I've never been in politics, and I don't know how it works, but I've only seen on TV that when you want things to happen, they don't happen. And this was the thing we wanted to happen, and it's happening. So I really just want to take time out to applaud and clap and throw my full support behind the Adopt an Orphanage initiative. It's incredible.
Mrs. Ali shared his excitement, positing that businesses would play a meaningful role in supporting these orphanages and helping them to alleviate some of the financial burdens which pose challenges in the provision of quality services.
I digress to say that how these orphanages are able to remain functional when they are sometimes grossly underfunded remains a mystery to many of us, and I applaud their management teams for an exceptional work that they continue to do in the face of monumental challenges. So after putting some thought into it, I proposed a sustainable solution which should guarantee continuous support for these institutions. I discussed with my team the idea of using my office to create a link between these orphanages and corporate Guyana.
The support to these orphanages includes, but is not limited to, utilities, repairs and maintenance, and will be done with oversight from the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. At the same time, the project was designed to achieve more than just providing support to these homes and children. The First Lady believes it is an opportunity for persons to recognize the disparity that exists and for them to open their hearts to the plight of children who are most vulnerable. Meanwhile, present along with sponsors and representatives was Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Yesu Persaud, who underscored the meaningfulness and purposefulness of the project and applauded all stakeholders.
But we want children to have much more than the necessities. And this is where this initiative will allow those who will benefit today to utilize the funds that they would have had to divide between the necessities and what the children can benefit from in addition. So I think It is an initiative that must be sustained, and I would like to compliment St. John for bringing his passion to this initiative, and also everyone who found the space in their heart to contribute, to support, and to reach out to something that you may not realize how much it means to the child who will benefit.
The orphanages to benefit in the first phase of the project include Joshua House, Bless the Children Home, Rimeveld Children Home, St. John Bosco Orphanage, Canaan Children's Home, Shahid Boys and Girls, St. Anne's Orphanage, and Prabhu Sharon Orphanage. The sponsors are Gisby, Taslim Basque, Atlantic Ventures Inc., Impressions Group, Innovations America, Sammy's, Anter Narine, Oasis Cafe, and Demerara Bank Limited.
When the newsroom returns, Guyana's COVID vaccination campaign faces severe setbacks as a result of the opposition's reckless statements. You're watching the newsroom. Myths about the COVID-19 vaccines and questions over its efficacy have now slowed the momentum of the national COVID-19 vaccination campaign, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony said on Tuesday. He explained that the APNU-AFC opposition's call for a suspension of the use of the Russian-made Sputnik V has contributed to people becoming hesitant. Sputnik V is the most administered vaccine in Guyana, but the government had been criticized by the opposition for paying a high cost for the vaccines through a supplier in the United Arab Emirates. In keeping with the confirmation from the Russian manufacturer that Guyana's Sputnik vaccines are authentic, Dr. Anthony said the opposition's urgings have now made it extremely difficult for healthcare workers to undo the damage.
Some political parties who have come out openly against vaccination. This has caused a setback. In addition to myths that people harbor, now that you have a vocal opposition telling people not to get vaccines and calling for the suspension of the Sputnik V vaccine in Guyana has in some ways contributing to people becoming a little bit hesitant. So it's making the work of the health workers extremely difficult to try to undo the damage that was done by the opposition. Nevertheless, the professionals that we have on the ground has been working to make sure and to get people to understand the importance of vaccination.
Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa has ordered more drainage pumps to be deployed to Region 5 to help drain stagnant floodwaters from Washclose, Maikoni on the east coast of Demerara. This community is heavily dependent on agriculture and has over 1,000 residents currently inundated. The minister, during a recent visit there, said that a team from the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority will construct dams around flooded yards to pump the water out.
Here at Maikoni, Washclose, Mortis, again we are here, and this is my 4th visit here since the flood started, and many residents express their concern about some of those areas that are still flooded. What we have decided, because we wanted to do this a long time ago, but residents didn't agree with us, to impose a certain block impoldament and pump the water out. So now they have decided that they will agree at that position, and from tomorrow Mr. Lionel Wordsworth and his team will start that exercise to start do the block impoldament, and we'll have pumps to pump out the water. So hopefully by the mid next week, this area can be drained out and the residents will not be underwater. At the same time, there were a number of concerns expressed about GPL, GWI. I have spoken to Mr. Sheikh Baksh, and he promised to get a team and himself to come into this area tomorrow. And our Director General would have spoken to Minister Indar to have the GPL to address their concern. Another concern the residents raise here is that we should ask GWI and GPL not to do any disconnection at this point in time, because they might not be able to pay their bills immediately. So I'll be speaking to both Mr. Sheikh Baksh and Mr. Baradindial to see to put that mechanism in place. But I think that as I'm speaking here, I'm fairly satisfied that the creek water is going down. The water level has dropped considerably, and if we don't have much rainfall more or any more rainfall, within a week or 2 we should have this area back to normalcy.
We tell you now that though the waters have receded significantly in several hard-hit communities in the lower and middle Mazaruni, Region 7, it will be a long time before the flooded affected residents can recover from the devastation left behind. Through efforts by the government and the Guyana Civil Defense Commission, residents have already started the road to recovery. Here is Shakima Day.
Region 7 is one of the 5 regions which were hardest hit by severe flooding that has been ongoing for over 1 month now. In some cases, houses and businesses directly located along the river banks in Region 7 were covered by as much as 12 to 15 feet of water. On Saturday, Director General of the Civil Defense Commission, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, along with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, Preparedness and Response Manager Yesu Persaud, and Program Officer Rashid Pindir, and other SADEMA members visited the area to conduct the detailed damage sector assessment on Guyana's flooding situation. The newsroom spoke with a few residents to get better insight into how the flood affected them.
You see, it was a very uncomfortable situation, we had to face here because of the so fast rising of the water, it makes us so uncomfortable because we couldn't able to, put things together so fast because of how things happen, and it happened too in the night, this water rise to this level in the night where we can't even get to see what we're doing and able to retrieve things or handle things, that we see floating going away and all these kind of stuff, and then too, we was very so scared about the water because we know that we don't know what is in the water while trying to get certain stuff, to safety,
It's the first time for we here, and we never see this experience here, so but this water do a lot of damage. I say that for real because I've been also kept inside the back dam, and when we come out here, so we got water. Yeah, so it's not damaged body, not.
My husband died 3 months gone back, 3 months now, and he left me with a big farm and the water gone and rotten up me bitter cassava, me sweet cassava, me banana them. So now I ain't got nothing for you could say for depend on, and me got 3 children for support. I mean getting nothing.
Oh, so you depend you do the farming as a business?
Yeah.
Oh, how much?
When he was alive, we also got like banana and sell and plant cassava and sell sweet cassava, bake better one and sell it. So I can really get nothing now from my farm.
Several families have been forced to relocate inland on boats and pontoons. The situation has severely affected mining activities, which is the region's main economic activity. For the newsroom, I am Shakima Day.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather and bridge reports along with sport news with Avinash Ramzan. That's it for me, Fariza Hanif. Take care.
Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We start things off with some boxing news. Guyanese boxer Kevin Allicock and coach Sebart Blake left Guyana on Tuesday for Russia to participate in a 3-week high-level camp ahead of the Olympic Games from July 23 to August 8. Allicock, ranked 19 in the world and 7 in the Americas, earned a spot based on his rankings, becoming the first Guyanese boxer since John Douglas in 1996 to qualify for the prestigious Games. A 2017 Commonwealth Youth Games silver medalist, Allicock's training in Russia is being facilitated by the Guyana Olympic Association. At a press conference on the eve of Allicock's departure, the importance of financial and other forms of support for national athletes was reinforced by officials of the Olympic Association and the Guyana Boxing Association.
I want to say thanks to GOA for the support that you guys have been showing me over the years, giving me over the years. Yeah, like I said, it's an honor to be representing my country at such a major game, such a wonderful tournament that is going to take place in Tokyo. I want to say thanks to everyone that supported me, whether it's an advice, whether it's a check, whether it's a compliment, and for every single thing that you've done for me, as a person showing the love. This really means a lot to me. You know, I've been making a lot of sacrifice over the years, you know, in order to reach to this point. I've been trusting in God my whole life. I never had no doubts about this, like Coach would have mentioned. I always tell them in the gym, listen, I'm going to take you to Tokyo. We're going to go to Tokyo. God is going to provide this trip for us. He's going to make a way for us, because I always trust in Him, you know, and I'm living that dream, you know. Like I said before, I've dreamed about this since the age of 6, and here I am living that dream. I always want to represent my country and fly the flag. This is what I get out of it, joy.
In normal circumstances, Kevin would have been having overseas preparation quite a long time before. But this is not a normal circumstance. And even before he steps into the ring, he has to be battling the protocols of COVID-19. As a matter of fact, as soon as he's finished here, he'll be going to do his PCR test. That is one hurdle that he will have to cross before he can even get into Russia to do his preparations. Anyway, we are confident that all of these battles will be won. We expect him to continue giving of his best, because that is what he has been doing, and that is why he's in the position that he's in the position that he is in today. This again is an extension of the hard work we as an association has been doing. It's an extension of the support we've been having from the Guyana Olympic Association, who has been unflinching in its support for boxing. And I guess with this sort of approach, that this will not be the last time we'll be seeing someone from the sport of boxing qualifying for the Olympics. But in the near future, we'll be seeing many more.
I wish to endorse what Steve just said, that we need to get our athletes in more and more international competition. So as Kevin has been ranked because he has been exposed. And this is where the funding has to come in. And so I'm also happy to see that corporate sector of Guyana are now coming on board. Kevin, the track and field have come on board. And I say that, Sir Kevin, if you could win a medal, and I hope you do, it will be a fillip for our athletes, because more and more corporate sector will come on board.
For sure, we're gonna give our best. I'm gonna give my best. I've been making sacrifices, I said, over the years. Kevin been doing the same. So we're gonna keep pushing as long and hard as possible to get where we need to be. I want to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Jumiasim and the members of the Guyana Olympic Association. I want to thank Mr. Stephen Inval and the executive of the Guyana Boxing Association, the members of the Forgotten Youth Foundation Boxing Gym, the owner of the gym, Mr. Keith Brazilio. He was supporting. He was very supportive of me in terms of the preparing boxers for the last 20 years.
GPM.
Yeah, get into that. All right, and he's very special in for me, because he provided a platform for me to have boxers at a gym in the ghetto, where they can come there and, you know, try what they can do to get to where they want to be.
About Kevin, I first met him when we went to the Commonwealth Youth Games in Bahamas in 2017. And it would take too long for me to tell you all that I think about him, but I'm really proud of him. I liked his spirit from the very beginning, his whole attitude to his sport. I would like to encourage those who are interested in really understanding what it has taken for Kevin to get to this stage to want to look at a very well done video that's Newsroom, is it? Yes. That Avinash Ramzan put out last night. But also to visit the gym sometime, once you don't get into Coach Siebert's way. Visit the gym and see, you know, really get an idea for yourself, because it looks very nice when we see our boxers at games in these nice fancy rings and so on. But what they have to do on a day-to-day basis to get there is quite different.
Meanwhile, eNetworks Inc., Guyana's only local telecommunications provider, today presented boxer Kevin Alicock with a sponsorship check of $250,000 ahead of his departure to the 2021 Olympic Games in Tokyo. The Games will be held from July 23 to August 8. Prior to the Games, the 22-year-old will engage in a high-level 3-week training camp in Russia, compliments of the Guyana Olympic Association. In a press release, eNetworks said it was pleased to support the boxer's journey to the Games. Quote, Alicock's Olympic qualification is the first for Guyana in 25 years, and eNetworks recognizes this as a proud moment for our country. We believe sponsorships like these allow our athletes to perfect their craft, gain exposure, and reach their full potential, all while representing Guyana on the world stage. eNetworks is thrilled to lend our support to Kevin, and we wish him well on his journey to this year's Tokyo Olympics. End quote. Alicock, a 2017 Youth Commonwealth Games silver medalist, will also join boxers from Antigua, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago as CARICOM representatives in Tokyo. Alicock has been long touted as a potential Olympic medalist given his exploits in regional and international competitions for Guyana over the years. He is currently ranked number 19 in the world and 7 in the Americas, rankings that were crucial in him qualifying for the Global Games. To date, Guyana has won only one Olympic medal, which incidentally came through the sport of boxing in 1980 when bantamweight fighter Michael Paris won bronze in Moscow. South Africa took a 2-1 lead in the 5-match T20 series against West Indies, winning the third game by 1 run in Grenada on Tuesday. Chasing 168, West Indies lost wickets at regular intervals and needed 15 of the last over with Fabian Allen and Dwayne Bravo at the crease. Kagiso Rabada leaked a 4 and a 6 in the over, but crucially bowled 3 dot balls that swung the game in South Africa's favour. Nicholas Pooran and Evan Lewis made 27 apiece and Andre Russell 25, while Henrik Noike and Tabre Shamsi took 2 wickets each. Earlier, Obed McCoy took career best figures of 4 for 22, and veteran Dwayne Bravo bagged 3 for 25 as South Africa were held to 167 for 8. McCoy and Bravo combined for 23 dot balls in their combined 4 overs. The informed Quinton de Kock stroked 72 of 51 balls, and Rassi van der Dussen made 32 of 24. Match 4 in the 5-match series is on Thursday, starting at 14 hours at the same venue. Meanwhile, with the last international series being a whitewash against England last September, West Indies women will return to the middle on Wednesday when they face Pakistan in the first of 3 T20 internationals. Captain Stephanie Taylor said the ladies are in a good place and are eager to play. More from Akim Green.
The ladies have been in camp for close to 2 months in Antigua, which will host all 3 of the T20 internationals and 5 one-day internationals. Taylor, speaking on the eve of the first T20 international, indicated that they have been training all along and now they want to test their skills in the middle.
Well, we've been here for a while. It's probably about 60 days. Been in camp. Everyone's feeling really good. We're in a good space. We even had an outing just to, see what it feels like to be back outside. But we had, a good day today in training, getting ready for tomorrow's first game.
With the 2022 fifth over World Cup qualifiers set for later this year, Taylor said it is a valuable opportunity to get much needed match time.
Well, the good thing going into World Cup is that we have a lot of games coming up, and for us it's taking each game at a time. Yes, we've not played for a while now. I think the last tour we had was against England, but this is something I would say new. We've been in camp for probably over 2 months or just about. I think it was really good. The girls are in a good space, and I think for us it's more likely taking each game at a time. I know that expectations is a bit high, but I think we really and truly don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Pakistan has been playing some good cricket, so not underestimating anybody, but for us it's more, one step at a time.
The series will be played alongside the A-team tour between the two sides, and Taylor said she is happy to see the emphasis being placed on development.
I must say that I'm really, really excited about that. I remember some time ago I did say, I think it was when we won the World Cup, and I said that we need to start developing young players, and it's probably maybe 5 or so years forward, but I think it's actually good. And I think they're excited as well. And, you know, we're just gonna come out and support them. We've been in camp for a while, and it's really good for West Indies cricket moving forward. We definitely, the improvement and development is what we want to see going forward. So I'm excited. I know they're excited too to get out there and get going.
Action bowled off the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium from 14 hours. For the newsroom, Akim Green.
And West Indies women A team have 5 Guyanese players included for the home series against Pakistan A, which commences on Wednesday in Antigua. Captain Renice Boyce called Vice-Captain Shabika Gajnabi, among others, as key players in the series, which will be alongside the international tour by Pakistan women. 3 T20s and 3 50-over matches will consist of the A team series.
I think I do have to support some of the senior, but the main thing is that some of the juniors have experience in international cricket, and I had them at my side, so I think I'll be pretty good. Shabika Gajnabi, Shanita Grimwood, Sherry-Ann Fraser, Kiana, Joseph. Let's have Shada Williams as well. I have a number of girls with international experience, maybe 1 or 2 games, so that is definitely the ones looking for.
And what's some stuff you've been working on to perfect as you head into the series?
Mostly technique. When it comes to batting, bowling, everything, mostly our technique, batting longer periods.
And the men's T20 World Cup has been moved from India to the United Arab Emirates and Oman because of the coronavirus pandemic. The 16-team tournament will take place from October 17 to November 14. The International Cricket Council gave India a deadline of Monday to say whether it would still host the tournament amid a rise in COVID-19 cases. The ICC Chief Executive, Geoff Allardyce, said the move brings certainty that the tournament can be held safely. The Board of Control for Cricket in India, the BCCI, will retain the hosting rights for the tournament despite its move out of the country. The pandemic disrupted the global cricket calendar last year, with the T20 World Cup originally due to take place in Australia in 2020. India were given the hosting rights for the rescheduled tournament in 2021, with Australia instead picked to host the 2022 edition. The United Arab Emirates has also taken on hosting responsibilities for the Indian Premier League, which was suspended by the Indian Cricket Board in May after a rise in COVID-19 cases. And finally, football news. England struck twice late on to end a 55-year wait for a knockout tie victory over Germany amid scenes of huge tension and elation at Wembley to reach the Euro 2020 quarterfinals. Gareth Southgate's side battled hard to earn the statement victory that has so often eluded England, and it was their talisman of this tournament, Raheem Sterling, who made a decisive breakthrough. Sterling, who scored the winners against Croatia and the Czech Republic in the group stage, steered in Luke Shaw's cross after 75 minutes to send England's fans, with more than 40,000 inside Wembley, into wild celebrations. The win was secured with another moment of significance 4 minutes from time when Captain Harry Kane, who had once again struggled to influence the game, heading in from substitute Jack Grealish's perfect delivery for his first goal of Euro 2020. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, Newsroom.gy, our Facebook page and Instagram. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.